Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Wonderfist here, and welcome back to the podcast. This is the third official episode of the podcast. Packboy is not here today, unfortunately. It is just me and Skylar, so we are one less today, but hopefully we can still have a pretty good show here. We do multiple episodes, ranging from a multitude of things. Um, we can do episodes not about news or anything, just like a topic we think of. We are going to have an episode soon talking about our top 5 favorite games. So things like that, right? So we can have different things going. And this is a news episode. This is kind of going through the news. There was some interesting news, especially yesterday, with the Bungie situation and stuff like that. So we're going to get into that, and just talk about some other things that happened in the previous week or week and a half around that area or around that time. And so we hope you enjoy. Um, so yeah, here we are, third official episode of the podcast. Um, Couple different things happened, but we'll get into that. All right, so I guess we'll start out with introductions. I'm gonna go first. I want to start out with introductions here. Hello, everyone. I'm WonderFizz. This is my YouTube channel, obviously, so hopefully you know who I am. Um, I have been doing pretty good. I've been playing some games here recently, obviously. I've been getting back into Red Dead Redemption 2. Um, the game came out a couple weeks after Black Ops 4, and when it came out, I was still very much into Black Ops 4, and so I would get on the game, play some missions, but I was not able to get immersed into the game because while I'd be playing Red Dead, I would just continue to think about Black Ops 4, and I would just have to get back on it. So I've been actually sitting down and just going through Red Dead Redemption 2, and that game could very well, like, once I complete it, if it keeps going the way it is, that could easily be in my top 5 all time. That game is just so good. I'm loving everything about it. What else have I been playing? I've been playing LA Noire. I've almost got that completed. Once I get LA Noire completed, once I get Red Dead 2 completed, I'm gonna try to hop into Witcher 3. I've got it installed. I've got to get to it, but I don't want to. That game has lots of hours of gameplay, and I don't want to try to get immersed into a long game while I'm also playing Red Dead 2 and stuff. So I've got that on hold right now, but that's some of the things I've been playing. So overall, I've been doing pretty good. Just enjoying gaming. So Skylar, what have you been playing? How have you
Um,
been?
I've been pretty good actually. You guys should know me by now. I've been on the podcast a few times.
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of Persona 5 here lately. Like I'm 30 hours into the game and I've got uh, at least over 50 more hours to go. It's like a 100-hour JRPG.
Yeah.
I'm really loving that game. Cody, you even watched me play some of it,
Yeah.
and you even really liked it,
Yeah.
which was a shocker because you don't really like JRPGs.
I don't like turn-based RPGs. I'm not a huge fan of the genre. I love RPGs obviously, but turn-based RPGs I've never been a fan of. But I don't know. I was really enjoying the story and the soundtrack. It was really
hmm
pulling me in.
Oh yeah, and in a few weeks from now, I will be playing the Resident Evil 2 remake. Really excited for that one,
Yep.
and Kingdom Hearts 3. But I'm gonna try to get Persona 5 knocked out of the way before I tackle Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I can be able to. It's unknown. We'll just have to wait and see.
All right. So one of the things that at the time of us recording this, this is uploading on January 11th. This is being recorded the previous day, and earlier today, me and Skylar were very let down because we had thought that there was going to be a Nintendo Direct today. But it's looking like we're not going to get one in January. So, um,
hmm
but we did get a lot of Nintendo news. Well, a lot, but we got some Nintendo news the previous night, I think, um,
hmm
about things like Yoshi and stuff. So we can get into that, and also we're going to talk about what we'd like to see in future directs. Maybe the direct. I know me and Skylar was watching a video earlier talking about how we might get a direct in February or March. So we can talk about maybe what we'll see if there's a direct soon. Like I said, I was really hoping there was a direct today, but sadly there wasn't. We're in that time where it almost feels like it's just like as a gamer you're just obviously there's like games coming out that's excited like to be excited for, but it's like as far as shows go, we're really just kind of waiting for E3 and Nintendo Direct does do a good job of holding you over and giving you some announcements, especially if you're a Nintendo fan. So, yeah, we can get into that and the Nintendo news for this week. So, Skylar, you can, if you want to start us off with talking about some Nintendo stuff that has happened within the last week and a half, you can.
Well, actually, I'm gonna jump into something else. I think we will get a Nintendo Direct, but I think it might be in maybe March, maybe.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna say right now. Nintendo Direct in March, and I have a lot of stuff written down for a Nintendo Direct, like some of the things I expect to see in the Direct, and I'm gonna go ahead and list some of those off.
Yeah. It's fine.
I expect a Joker gameplay reveal, like how Joker's gonna play in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I expect that pretty soon. Like that could be the opening to the March Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
I'm also expecting the Metroid Prime trilogy to come to the Nintendo Switch.
I'm really hoping
Because
that happens.
why not?
Yeah, I'm really hoping that happens.
Yeah, I definitely think the Prime trilogy is coming to the Switch. I think Fire Emblem Three Houses release date will get announced in the Nintendo Direct, and I think it'll be a summer title. I think Pikmin 4 will be a surprise 2019 title because that game has been confirmed for a long time now by Shigeru Miyamoto. So I think Pikmin 4 will be a surprise 2019 title. I do expect to see a couple of Wii U ports, such as the Wonderful 101 and Super Mario Maker. The Wonderful 101, it was a good game for the Wii U. Has so much personality and so much style. It's also made by one of my favorite developers, which is Hideki Kamiya. He's responsible behind Devil May Cry, Okami, Beautiful Joe, Bayonetta.
Yeah.
Just has so much personality and so much style. Super Mario Maker, I think Super Mario Maker is the ideal game for the Nintendo Switch. I mean, come on. Dragon Quest XI S release date, I think that also would be a summer title. Big JRPG from Square Enix. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, I expect a new trailer from that, and maybe a 2019 release.
Hopefully.
Maybe they might release that maybe a couple of months after Endgame.
Yeah.
To coincide with the movie. At least I hope so.
Yeah.
Luigi's Mansion 3, maybe 2019, maybe 2020, but I think whenever it does release, it will be on Halloween, or be around Halloween.
Yeah, that makes the most sense.
I expect to see the Town RPG make a return, and I hope it gets a new name and a new detailed trailer.
Yeah.
Because when I seen Game Freak's Town, obviously everyone knows Game Freak, really talented developer. They're behind the Pokemon games. I wasn't that too impressed with it. I feel like I need to see more before I can give a final judgment on the game.
Yeah.
Whether or not I'm going to be excited for it or not. Let's get on our knees and pray for a Bayonetta 3 gameplay reveal. Because I've honestly waited at least over a year without no Bayonetta news.
Yeah.
And I think it's finally time that someone comes out and gives me a new trailer for Bayonetta 3.
We gotta see it at some point,
Yeah. And they may close the direct with Metroid Prime 4.
They could. Yeah, they could.
Yeah.
I think I could see Metroid maybe showing up at E3 for sure.
Mm-hmm. Which I had this little theory that maybe, you know how like the past 2 years for 2016, I think it was 2016 or 2017, how Nintendo has focused on like Breath of the Wild at E3, just that game alone at E3, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate being the highlight.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe Metroid Prime 4 will be the highlight of maybe E3 this year. Like they'll have like a Metroid themed booth and a Metroid themed E3.
Yeah, I want to see it. It's Nintendo has a lot of games that we just don't have much to go on. Animal Crossing, Metroid, Bayonetta 3, just don't have much to go on. We just got a title screen really.
Yeah, which I think Metroid Prime 4 is 2020, and I think what Nintendo's going to do is doing something similar to what they did with the Bayonetta trilogy. The Bayonetta games, they ported Bayonetta 1 and 2 over from the Wii U onto the Switch.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what they're going to do with Metroid. Because the ports are doing really well. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze hit like 2 million in sales, and that's pretty good considering that that's a Wii U
Yeah,
game.
yeah,
I mean,
it's great. You know, 'cause like me personally, like in many ways I do hate because like I did buy my Switch for new things, but it's obviously a brilliant marketing strategy. You know, you got a lot of people buying the Switch, they want content. Why not put all these Wii U games that not a lot of people bought because not a lot of people had a Switch or a Wii U. So why
and
not why not put them on there?
and I think most of those games, like Wonderful 101, Super Mario Maker, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, the Bayonetta games, they really didn't have a room to breathe because the Wii U's audience was just so small.
Yeah, like I'm like I said, you know, I do want new things, but I'm totally fine with it. Like, because those games
Yeah.
deserve the spotlight, they deserve the
hmm
sales that they can get on the Switch, and it is more content, and you can't really complain with more content.
Yeah.
It's just more games to buy and enjoy. So
The issue that I'm having with like these ports right now is Nintendo's not really giving me a reason
yeah, there's no
to go
reason.
out and buy or repurchase uh, New Super Mario Brothers U and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze besides Peachette and Funky Kong,
Yeah, and
and
in
that's
easy
pretty
mode.
much an easy mode. Yeah, I'm not really too fancy about that.
Yeah, I mean it's like I own Tropical Freeze on the Wii U.
hmm
If I really want it, because I never beat that game. If I really want to beat that game,
hmm
I'll hook up my Wii U. I'll find the cables and hook it up because I am not going to go pay $60 for the same game just because it has like an extra character in it, like an easy mode or
Yeah.
whatever. It's just not worth it.
What I wish Nintendo and Retro Studios would have done is maybe add in new content, such as like a new world,
Yeah.
maybe like a couple new worlds, or maybe like an expansion to Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze to give us Wii U owners a reason to buy that game.
Yeah, because if you love that game on the Wii U and you have a chance to get it, if you really love it and you're getting extra content, I'm sure a lot of people would, you know, buy it for the extra content if you
hmm
really love it. Um, when are we going to see a new Donkey Kong game? That's what I've been thinking about that for quite some time because I would like to see a new Donkey Kong game.
Yeah, mm.
Do you think
It's
they go?
unknown what Retro Studios is working on. They could be working on another Donkey Kong Country game, or they could be working on something completely new. Who knows?
Do you think that they go the same route as the previous like Donkey Kong games, or do you think they go maybe with a different style? Maybe do what they did with a Super Mario Odyssey, or go back to those Donkey Kong 64 days with a
Mm.
style of game like that.
Ugh. I know a lot of people really love Donkey Kong
It's one of my
64.
favorites in 64 games. I have so many memories with that game.
Um, what I think Retro Studios would do though is maybe make another 2D platformer
Yeah.
like Donkey Kong Country Returns and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and maybe that could wrap up like the Donkey Kong Country trilogy. Well, Retro's trilogy to Donkey Kong Country.
It,
Just one thing that's like a really bummer about like the Donkey Kong Country, the newer games, is that there's no King K. Rool in the Kremlins.
yeah.
King K. Rool and his Kremlins is probably like one of my King K. Rool is probably one of my favorite video game villains of all time. Like he's definitely up there, like in my top five,
Yeah.
maybe even top three. Uh, I just feel like the recent villains in the Donkey Kong Country games, like the Tikis and the Snowmads, I just feel like they're unforgettable compared to the Kremlins. But that's just my personal opinion.
I mean, it would make sense if the next Donkey Kong
Mm,
follows in the Donkey Kong Country
yeah.
style. Because if you look at you in a world where you have obviously Zelda with beautiful open worlds, Mario Odyssey was
hmm
open world, like not open world fully, but like these different worlds and kingdoms, which was
hmm
you could freely explore. It would make sense to have the variety of okay, here's Donkey Kong, here's a great 2D platformer because Tropical Freeze was a very well received game. A lot of people love that
Right.
game, so it would make
hmm
sense to go that same route. And I mean, I'd be up for it. It's more content, newer Donkey Kong
Uh,
games. So
Funny story. I actually remember when they revealed Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. It was back in like I think it was like 2013, 2014. I remember there was a lot of backlash from fans at first because they wanted a new Metroid game.
Yeah.
They thought Retro Studios was working on Metroid Prime 4, but turns out Bandai Namco is. But Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, really good platformer.
Yeah.
You know, Donkey Kong Country is known for its challenge, and it has it there.
Yeah. Some other Nintendo news to quickly point out. Yoshi's Crafted World, correct? That's the title of the game.
Yeah, Yoshi's Crafted World.
I'm very pumped for it, and we have an official release date, March 29th. I'm definitely will be picking that up. I love Yoshi. I remember talking to Skylar when the Nintendo Switch came out, first came out or got revealed, and I said, I hope they do a new Yoshi game because I love Yoshi, and this is it.
Oh yeah,
we got it, March 29th.
One thing I hope this new Yoshi game has, Yoshi's Crafted World, which I kind of doubt it'll have this feature, but I wish it has a hard mode maybe.
Yeah.
Because like Kirby Star Allies was criticized, for it being too easy, for it being a cakewalk.
Yeah.
And I hope that maybe Nintendo sees this and maybe includes a hard mode for the gamers that want a little bit more of a challenge in Yoshi's Crafted World. Because I just don't want to, walk through the game like being asleep.
Yeah.
Don't want to be bored of it.
Yeah, and I'm I definitely want the option, for players.
Yeah.
If you want to play on the easy mode, you don't want to, have a hard time. You just want to enjoy like the story and the gameplay and the soundtrack and have that, but also have it for the have a mode for the people who want the challenge and want to enjoy the gameplay and the soundtrack, but also want to have a challenge. I hope they do. We'll have to wait and see if they do that, but
I mean, I know Yoshi and Kirby, those are two series that's mostly catered to like the younger audience. But I don't think it would be a big hassle if Nintendo put in maybe a higher difficulty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it wouldn't be an issue at all. I mean, we've been picking, think about in the history of games, most people understand that, when you boot up a game and it says easy, normal or hard or whatever. I think that I'm excited for it. Like I've always loved Yoshi. I think he's awesome. So I'm excited for it.
Which Nintendo has a history, specifically the Switch. Most of the games that's came out to, I felt like was way too easy. Yeah. Well, besides Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, Kirby Star Allies. Easy. Yeah. I compare that to like the older Mario games, such as Super Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario World, Super Mario 64. I felt like those games had much more of a challenge compared to what Super Mario Odyssey did.
Speaking of Mario, we also, at the time we're recording this, but it's going up January 11th, Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe is out. So that's more content for your Switch there if you are interested in it.
Also, Tales of Vesperia is coming out for all consoles, Nintendo Switch, PS4, and Xbox 360.
The definitive edition,
Xbox One. It's already out on the 360.
Yeah. I mean, it looks good. I never got to play it on the Wii U, so I mean, I don't know. It's something that I think at a later date I might consider. Depending on depending on what we get this year. If a lot of the games that we have for the Switch are pushed back, I could see it maybe being something I look at. But if we get, Animal Crossing, Luigi's Mansion 3, all that stuff, I don't know if I'm going to actually need it.
Which the new Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe, it has the base game, New Super Mario Brothers U, and it also has New Super Luigi U, which is
it does have content.
Much more challenging.
It does have content.
Yeah, but like my thing with like the New Super Mario Brothers series is that New Super Mario Brothers DS and New Super Mario Brothers Wii, they were good games, but it eventually got really stale.
Yeah.
Because it felt like I was seeing the same thing over and over.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess if you don't have anything else for Nintendo, we can move on. Unless you have something else you want to talk about.
No, I pretty much covered like what I was going to talk about with like the future direct and the latest two games coming out. So
Well, now time for our second topic. This is something that happened yesterday, um, which is weird because, like I said, we're recording this the previous day it's uploading. But yesterday, um, Bungie announced that they are ending their partnership with Activision. Now, for me, as a huge Halo fan, someone who used to love Bungie back in the day, those days are long gone. Unfortunately, Bungie is not the same Bungie that they once were. A lot of the great devs, like the one of the best composers ever, Marty O'Donnell, he got fired by Bungie, which that still makes me mad to this day. Um, they're not the same Bungie, but Activision are a dev killer. I honestly like. I would honestly love to see what a lot of the COD developers could do without Activision, because Activision really just ruins developers. They're just. I really don't like Activision. They're not good. They're not a good company. They just really they try to force their agendas onto developers. I would love to live in a world where Destiny 1 and 2 was not under Activision. I think this is a fantastic move. Honestly, couldn't have come soon enough. I think that I wish it had
mhm.
happened 4 years ago, because Bungie was a great developer. They were on top of the world back in 2007. They left Microsoft because they said that because Bungie did not want to make Halo forever. They even came out and said that in their statement when they left Microsoft. They said that Microsoft wanted Bungie to make Halo forever, and obviously Microsoft had good right. I mean, that was their flagship title. They did not want it to just die. But Bungie did not want to make Halo forever. They wanted to continue and do different things. So they left Microsoft. Now, what did they do as soon as they left Microsoft? Well, they signed a deal with Activision, which I will never understand that. They wanted to have, creative freedom and do what they want, and then they signed with Activision. Don't understand it myself, but I'm so glad because, like I said, they've ended that deal. Bungie is now, once again, an independent company, and they will be controlling what they do with going forward. A lot of people are saying Destiny 3. I personally don't think at all that they're doing Destiny 3. I think it's going to be something new because, let's be honest, a lot of people enjoy Destiny, but Destiny is not the hit that we all thought it was going to be. I remember when Destiny first got announced, everybody was going crazy because it was the devs of Halo, quote unquote devs of Halo, even though, like I said, a lot of those devs left. A lot of those devs actually still work at 343 working on Halo. Um, but yeah, it was the quote unquote devs of Halo, and they're making a new first person shooter. Oh my gosh, there's no way this game will fail. And I got it obviously on day one because I was hyped for it.
Mhm.
Um, but it was a fail. I hated Destiny. I hate Destiny 1. I hate Destiny 2. And I'm not so sure that all of that falls on Bungie. A lot of it is Activision's fault. So this, in my opinion, thank you, Bungie, for finally doing this. Thank you for leaving Activision. Um, it it's about time. It's about time. Like I said.
Um,
Oh, continue.
imagine I'm gonna run a thought across your mind. Imagine if Microsoft acquired Bungie.
See, that's the thing right there. Cause see, a lot of people um are saying, like I've seen a lot of people on Twitter, say, what if Microsoft got them back and let them work on Halo? Now, see, I'm kind of split on that because it's no secret that there was like a bad taste in the mouths of Halo fans when the whole Bungie Microsoft thing went down. Um, in many ways, I strongly feel like 343 are coming into their own. Because in 343's defense, they were a new developer. It's hard to tell what Microsoft was pushing on them. A lot of people didn't like the direction of Halo 4 and 5. We don't know what old Microsoft's management. Microsoft management is not the Microsoft management of 10 years ago or even 7 years ago. It's changed. So we don't know what 343 was being pushed to do. And with the Halo Infinite trailer, the Halo community has never been this positive in a long time, let me tell you. We actually have things to be excited about. The old art style is returning. But it's not just the old art style. It's not like 343 are backtracking and saying, "Oh God, fix it, fix it." Even the art director himself came out. Sparth is what his name is, or is his nickname or whatever. and he came out and he said it's taking things of the old art style that people loved, but they're also merging it and doing different things with it, kind of merging the new and old art style or something like that. It was like taking the old art style, but not just copy and pasting what they did back in the day. It's doing different things while also giving fans what they want.
Hmm.
I really feel like 343 are coming into their own, and I really feel like 343, they, even though Bungie created Halo, 343 I feel like have the right to continue and try to make the best out of what they have with Halo. Now, let's say Microsoft in this world, Microsoft acquires Bungie. Bungie is a first party Microsoft studio. Bungie created new IP. Now, obviously, I would be over the moon with that. But let's say time passes. Halo Infinite is poorly received. Let's say the campaign, a lot of people didn't like it. You know, let's say there's positives, like people say, yeah, the art style was really nice, but the story's trash. Let's say MP isn't doing too hot. And what if Microsoft says, okay, how about we switch things up? How about we let 343 work on something new and let Bungie return to Halo? That could be an interesting scenario. I'm honestly all for Microsoft going and saying, Bungie, like, what do you want? Do you want to become a part of Microsoft Studios? Because I can totally get Bungie wanting to stay independent. Like, I can totally understand that. If Bungie wants to stay independent and not join Microsoft Studios, you know, I can understand that. Phil was Phil was quick, and actually Phil wasn't the only one because I seen Major Nelson in every one of them. Phil, as soon as Bungie tweeted, it was almost like he immediately he hopped in those replies and was like, you know, talking nice about them, and because Phil is a huge Destiny fan, he really likes the game. I I mean, do you think that maybe this year E3, what if that was a big surprise? What if he just came out and said, I'm very happy to announce that we have reunited with Bungie. They are a part of Microsoft Studios. I think that might be a big announcement. Like
That would be.
Bungie returning to Microsoft.
Hmm.
It for
That
me.
would probably shake the theater up because
Yeah.
you know, um, Xbox fans, they really love Bungie. They love the previous Halo games.
Yeah,
Be
like
a lot of excitement there.
like Bungie's a talented developer. No one can take that away from them.
Mm.
Even though I didn't like Destiny 1 and 2, they are a talented developer. Um, I would just be excited to see, because like I said, I would prefer them create something new for Microsoft, a new first-person shooter, or a new something else, whatever they wanted to do.
Mm.
It's just, it would be nice to have another extremely talented. They're not just talented. Bungie is extremely talented. They've
Hmm.
proved that in the past. I would be more excited if it was the Bungie of old. You know, if like a lot of those, like if Marty O'Donnell, which again, one of my favorite composers ever, he made the great soundtracks. He created one of the most iconic themes in gaming history with the Halo theme, and he created the Halo 2 soundtrack, the 3 soundtrack, the ODST soundtrack, the Reach soundtrack. He's a legend. If he was there and a lot of the old guys was there, like Joseph Staten, he actually works at Microsoft. He's writing the story for Crackdown 3. So he's still at Microsoft. He doesn't work at Bungie anymore, but like I would be more excited if it was them. But still, I think Bungie's talented, and I think it would be great for Microsoft to get them.
Hmm.
Will it happen? Probably not, because like I said, I get the feeling that they just want to stay independent and try to do what they can, and not have, because you know, if you look at it from their standpoint, they're coming off of a relationship with two companies, and then I could see them saying, okay, let's just go our way, let's just do what we want. So yeah.
Do you remember? I think it was in 2014, maybe, when Sony and Bungie partnered up for Destiny.
Yeah.
Like they had those like PS4 bundles. Sony had the marketing rights, and I think they also done the same thing with Destiny too. Imagine if Bungie wanted to create a new IP, and Sony and Bungie partnered up, and it was an exclusive or a timed exclusive for the
That would.
PS5. Like kind of like how Sony is doing that with Kojima Productions right now.
I
Kind
mean,
of like how they're partnered up with them.
see,
Sony could catch on to that.
that's where I'm looking at Microsoft and saying, you've got to do your job better. You know, because I
Yeah.
love that they're acquiring studios. Trust me, I love that. But you can't just rely on studio. You know, you've got to
Mhm.
get out there and do different things. I praise Sony for doing what they've done this generation. They've went out and they've struck deals with people like Kojima and stuff like that. They're doing
Mhm.
it. Now it's time for Microsoft. Like we've talked about, Skylar. Nintendo have a Marvel game. Sony had a Marvel game. Phil, it's time for you guys to get a Marvel game. Don't just sit and
Right.
wish you had one. Go do it. Go to Marvel and open the checkbook and say, you have plenty of characters. You have plenty of things just sitting there. Let us
Mhm.
have one. Give us Thor. Give us Captain America. Give us something, and let us make a game about it. It's not my job to pick the developers. It's not my job to do that. It's their job. They've got to
Mhm.
go do it. You can't like they've got to do better with that stuff. Like I said, they're acquiring studios, and that's great and all, but go to Bungie right now. If I'm Phil Spencer, I'm on the phone with Bungie right now, and I'm saying, okay, first and foremost, are you looking to be acquired? Okay, maybe you're not. What are you doing next? Are you doing Destiny? You doing something new? You're doing something new? Okay,
Mhm.
I want that as a timed exclusive on the next Xbox. We want that. Here's the money. You've got to do that stuff. You can't just rely on because they got 7 new studios. These new studios could all create something that sucks. We don't know that. They haven't created something. And so you've got to do more than that. You've got to go out and ask the Bungies of the world what they're doing. I don't want to talk about this forever.
Mhm.
I'm very passionate about this stuff. I still have a love for Bungie. They're not the same Bungie, but I do like them, and I do hope Microsoft's on the phone with them because it would be interesting if they come back. But we can move on if you
For the
want to.
future of Bungie, before we move on, for the future of Bungie, I could definitely see maybe Sony or Microsoft partnering up with them.
Yeah, and
Maybe get like an exclusive or a timed exclusive. It'll be a big deal for both companies.
yeah, and see that's the thing, because
Mhm.
Activision had signed the deals with PlayStation. Now that's all off the table. Bungie now
Mhm.
have everything to do with Destiny. If they do a Destiny 3, they could go a consumer friendly route, which I don't. They're not going to do this because again, we live in a world where you need money, and they're probably going to look to partner with one of these companies. But maybe the deal isn't because with Destiny 1 and 2, I'm pretty sure, especially Destiny 1, I know for sure, there was a lot of timed content that you could only get on PS4 for like months and
Right.
years, like or something like that. Like it was very wild. Like so, maybe they go a consumer friendly route where they say, okay, give us money so you can market your game and it can be like one of the headliners, but we're not going to do any time content. We want everyone to get everything because we are moving in that
Right.
direction, I think. So talked a lot about that, so we can move on if you want. Um,
Yeah.
Before we get to the last bit here, um, I got a little segue just to mention a couple things. So first and foremost, Xbox. It was kind of a quiet week and a half, somewhat like that. They didn't have much going on. Um, I'm pretty sure this was just announced. Now I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this was just announced because I went to their Twitter to look within the last week and a half to see if anything had happened, and I come across this, and I'm just going to assume that this is new. They do have a Metro Exodus Xbox One X bundle, and it looks like from the picture you get the first 2 Metro games and you get Metro Exodus with an Xbox One X. I'm not for sure of the price, but that would not be a bad bundle at all because even the 360 versions of the old Metro games still look good, and Metro Exodus looks like it's going to be very nice graphically, and you get an Xbox One X to go with it, so that's not bad. Uh, they did have their games with gold. Like again, it was a slow week. It was a slow week and a half for Xbox. They haven't talked much about things. I think they're gearing up um, to really market Crackdown 3 because obviously they have that next month, and I'm really hoping they market that game correctly. I've I'm I can be very critical of Microsoft's marketing. I don't think they've done a great job this generation, but they have been losing this generation, so maybe that has a lot to do with it. You can grab Celeste January 1st to the 31st with games with gold. W2C6 looks like a racing game. I won't be downloading that. Laura Croft. Which Laura Croft game was this? It looks like um, is it the Guardian of Light? I think that's what it is.
Mhm.
That's January 1st to 15th, and then Far Cry 2 January 16th to 31st. So that's the games with gold. Um, Again, slow January for Xbox. Like I said, I think they're gearing up for. They're probably going to have an Inside Xbox in the month of February to hop up Crackdown. So that's probably what they're gearing up for, and they'll
Hmm.
hopefully have some news there. Um, yeah, but and then you had mentioned Avengers, right? You had something to talk about Avengers.
Oh, I just wanted to say that Marvel came out and confirmed that Avengers: Infinity War uh, raked in a lot of money at the box office. Raked in actually
Wow.
$2 billion at the box. That is crazy.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Marvel's at an all-time high, man.
Hmm.
That's
Oh
what I'm
yeah.
saying. Like Phil, if you're watching, I know you love this podcast. No, I'm just joking. But like Phil, if you're watching, everyone loves Marvel. Everyone loves Marvel right
Hmm.
now. Like, imagine a Marvel game exclusive to your platform on the next Xbox. That'd be great. But yeah, um, like I said, Avengers is all-time high, man.
Oh yeah.
Marvel's at an all-time high. Everything they do is just doing fantastic.
And Black Panther hit a billion. That
Yeah.
shocked me because that is not a crossover movie. That is a solo film.
I think it's just going to continue to grow. I think every
Oh yeah.
Marvel movie that continues to come out, we're just going to be surprised by the numbers. You know, like
Hmm.
DC. As much as I love you, man, I love DC. I love Batman. I love all that stuff, but there's just no competition right now. It's all
Yeah.
Marvel. Marvel is just
Hmm.
dominating it.
Yeah, I think DC movies has been rather sloppy. I didn't
Yeah,
really like Batman versus Superman. Um, Justice League, I liked it at first, but then once I thought more and more about it, I just do not like Justice League. I did not like it. I really don't like Ben Affleck's Batman.
I enjoyed Ben Affleck.
Yeah, I feel like maybe my perspective on Ben Affleck's Batman, maybe it will change if I got a solo Batman movie.
Yeah. Also, just a little quick note: there is some big games coming out this month. Kingdom Hearts 3. Skylar, I know you're pumped for it. Um,
Oh yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3. It's probably the biggest game of January releasing.
yeah.
Probably one of the most biggest games this year releasing.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
it's it's up there.
um, the game's been in development for a really long time. I hope it doesn't get Duke Nukem Forever syndrome. We all know how bad that game is,
Yeah.
which I don't think it will, but um, everyone's got their eyes on Kingdom Hearts 3. I think it'll sell really well.
We also have
Resident
Resident Evil
Resident
2.
Evil 2,
Yeah.
that's also coming out. I hope that the Resident Evil 2 remake, I hope it is well received, and I hope the fans love it because Resident Evil kind of has like a rocky history with games. A lot of people didn't like 5 and 6 because it strayed away from Resident Evil survival horror aspects,
Yeah.
but 7 kind of brought that feel back in for everyone.
Yeah. And
Um,
also, like we mentioned earlier, Tales of Vesperia, the definitive edition,
right.
January 11th. Super
Hmm.
Mario Brothers U Deluxe, January 11th. There's more games, but there was just a couple of the headliners. You know, especially like the majority of people this month are looking at Kingdom Hearts and Resident Evil 2.
Right. That's my two most anticipated titles for this month is Resident Evil 2 remake and Kingdom Hearts 3. And actually, at the time of this record, right now, actually, you can go pick up the Resident Evil 2 one-shot demo, and you have 30 minutes to make it through the Raccoon City Police Department. Can you survive that? I'm about to find out in a couple of minutes.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's not like there's some years where the year starts out slow. Man,
Hmm.
we're going from Kingdom Hearts 3, Resident Evil 2, and February is going to be jam packed. You got Metro,
Yeah.
Anthem, Crackdown, Jump Force, and then March you're going to have Devil May Cry, right? That game comes out in March,
Oh,
correct?
yeah, yeah. I forgot
Um,
about Devil May Cry 5.
Shadows Die Twice, a new From Software game. So this
Hmm.
year is packed with games. It's honestly, it's crazy.
2019 could be much better than 2017 and 2018.
It could.
We'll just have to wait and see.
2018 was a great year for gaming, but 2019
Hmm.
is it's looking good.
2019 may overthrow it, may overtake it. Who knows?
Yeah. Um, so to end it off, we're going to chat a little about PlayStation. I know Skylar had some things to talk about with them, and I've got a couple of
Hmm.
things written down. So you can go ahead and start us off with the big PlayStation news.
Well, Sony's recently came out and confirmed that the PlayStation 4 has hit. I think it was. Oh, was it 91 million units sold?
91.6, right?
91.6
Yeah.
million units sold, and Spider-Man has sold 9 million units.
Yeah, that's
And I
insane.
think Spider-Man is labeled as the fastest-selling PlayStation exclusive of all time.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
think so.
and I figured it would,
Hmm.
because there was so many people high for that.
Right. And plus, it was coming off of Avengers: Infinity War, Spider-Man. He had a pretty big role in Infinity War,
Yeah, I
so it's
mean,
coming off the hype of that.
like if you're an Xbox fan,
Mhm.
as an Xbox fan, like Sony is just hitting it out of the park with this stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, 91.6 million units has been sold of the PlayStation 4,
Yeah.
and it is close. It is close. Everyone's been talking about this. It is close to overtaking its predecessors, which is the PS1, because the PS1 has hit 102 million units, and the Nintendo Wii, which has hit 101 million units.
Yeah.
We'll just have to wait and see if it'll overtake it. It just all depends on what Sony releases. If they release The Last of Us Part 2, definitely.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
overtaken the PS1 and the Nintendo Wii.
Last of Us 2 is going to sell so many copies.
Right. That's going to be a system seller.
Yeah.
Days Gone. I don't think Days Gone and Dreams. I don't think those are going to. I mean, they'll sell,
They'll
but
sell,
you know,
yeah.
it's Days Gone and Dreams is nowhere near as big as The Last of Us. But we'll just have to wait and see the future of this console and see what Sony puts out for
I mean, that's
the
insane.
PlayStation 4.
That's insane to
Mhm.
think about, right? Though, like, you know, because Spider-Man hit 9 million. There's 91 PlayStations out there. You know, that puts into perspective, you know, because like obviously games will come out and you just keep thinking about, oh, everyone's going to want this game, you know, and you know, 91 people, which again, you know, there's many owners who maybe bought that, sold it, bought that, you know, don't play it as much, or just
Many
don't.
owners could be a DC fan.
DC fan, you know, maybe they don't like that certain type of game, maybe they
Right.
don't like superhero games, but it's just crazy to think, you know, that puts into perspective why so many developers are worried about their games not doing good. Because again, 91 PlayStations and 9 million people bought Spider-Man, and that's a huge success. I'm not trying to downplay
Yeah.
that at all. 9 million copies is insane. Like that, every developer wishes
Yeah,
they could do
definitely.
that. But that just puts into perspective, you know, how the gaming industry it's hard with a console like PlayStation 4, which is dominating, and it's the tops. It's 91 million. Like I said, 91 million, and 9 million people bought PlayStation. One of the most hyped games this year. Like there were so many people hyped for that game, and 9 million out of 91 bought that. That's just, I mean, again, like,
Mhm.
that's why, you know, like developers do need to be supported, you know, because again, the industry isn't easy. It isn't, you know, and that again, like that just puts into perspective. So
Mhm.
I
Um,
sense we continue.
Also, I was going to mention that the PlayStation 4 has already outsold last generation consoles, the PS3 and Xbox 360.
Yeah,
The PS3 has sold 83.8 million units, and the Xbox 360 has sold 84 million. That was a close battle.
yeah,
Obviously, the PS3, when it was announced, Sony done a lot of things wrong. High prices,
yeah.
hardly any exclusives.
The
But they picked it back up towards the end
Yeah, the
of the
360
PS.
the 360 dominated the majority of the generation, but towards the end it lost steam, and the PlayStation 3
Yeah.
really kicked it into high gear. You know, with like games like Last of Us and stuff.
hmm But I still think that would be insane if it outsold the original PlayStation and the Nintendo Wii.
Yeah.
Obviously, those two are my favorite consoles of all time. The original PlayStation and the Wii has just an incredible lineup of games.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep mentioning because I'm on this website right
Yeah.
now that's telling me these game sales. I'm sure you can guess the best-selling video game console of all time
Yeah, I know
just
what
for
it
the
is.
sheer hype alone.
Go ahead and say it. I know what it
PlayStation
is.
2.
Yep.
PlayStation 2 has came in with 155 million units sold, and behind that is the Nintendo DS with 154 million
Yep.
units sold. Nintendo DS. I'm sure everyone had a Nintendo DS.
Yeah, I had one.
Yeah, I had multiple DSs actually. I had the original DS. I had the DSi. I had the DS Lite. I had the 3DS. I had multiple Nintendo DSs. Yeah. Will it overtake the PS2? I don't think so.
I don't think it will.
Yeah.
But obviously this PS4 was insanely, you know,
Mhm.
a success. It was a success. It was beyond a success.
Which who knows? Maybe next generation consoles, maybe the next Xbox and next PS, next PlayStation, Maybe it'll overtake the PS2.
I've uh, I don't know what it's going to do, but I've told you, like I
Mm,
said, I've said it many times. I I don't think, which I want Microsoft to come out and say their numbers for the Xbox One. I just want to know what the
mm,
console's at. Obviously, they're not going to do that because it would be pointless. They're not beating Sony, so why come out and share it? But
mm,
I just don't think it's going to be a landslide like it was this generation. I think next generation, because like I said, every generation you look at in gaming, gaming grew immensely. It got more and more popular every generation. And I just think that next generation, both consoles are going to do great. Because if you're looking at
mm,
it from, I think Sony learned from their mistakes with the PS3. That launch was not good. They learned
mm.
from that. They fixed it with the PS4, and I don't think that they're going to go back on that. I mean, stranger things have happened, right? But I don't think they're going to go back on
Right.
that. Microsoft learned their lesson this generation. So you have a lot of studios of Microsoft. If they can pump out great games, you have Sony's first-party studios firing on all cylinders. That's
Mm,
gonna increase the competition. You have Nintendo doing great things like Breath of the Wild, a masterpiece. Even though I didn't personally enjoy Odyssey, that was still like a lot of people
mm,
regard that as a masterpiece. Got great reviews. All companies can easily go into next generation firing on all cylinders. I mean,
mm.
technically Nintendo and Sony are. It's just we're kind of waiting for
Right.
Microsoft. Even like I said, I don't want to make it sound like Microsoft. Microsoft are doing fine. They're not. It's not like a lot of people might make it out as like, oh, Microsoft's done. No, it's not. They're
Mm,
fine. And in many ways, the Xbox One is selling good. Um, but I think that once Microsoft's, if they can get these first party studios pumping out high quality content, if Sony stays at what they're doing and Nintendo continue on what they're doing, again, that increases
mm.
competition, that increases demand because people are going to want these games, and I think that gaming is going to grow insane. I think that next generation is going to be a success for everyone. I'm pumped for it. I'm ready to see the. Oh, I just can't imagine what games are going to look like next
Hmm.
generation. I'm just pumped for next generation, man. I
I hope
really am.
Sony goes into the PlayStation 4 to the PlayStation 5 smoothly. I hope it's like the PS1 to PS2.
Yeah,
I hope it's like that. I don't want it to be like the PS2 to PS3 because look at the PS2 and then look at the
yeah.
reveal
I
of the
mean,
PS.
it could be a situation like with Microsoft with the 360.
Hmm.
It just came off an insanely popular console, and then they messed up. I
I
mean,
think Sony will be fine for next generation if they can carry their momentum from the PS4 success
yeah,
over to the PS5. I think they'll be fine.
yeah, yeah. I think they will too.
Hmm.
One other thing that I seen on Twitter, because like I said, I just to get a recap, I went to all the Twitters and stuff just to get a little recap, and I seen something that was very interesting from the PlayStation Twitter. Battle Royale sensation PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds was the most downloaded PS4 game of December.
Wow,
That's
really?
Yeah. In a world where Fortnite is dominating, you've got Blackout with Black Ops 4. PUBG launches on PS4 and is the most downloaded game on the PlayStation 4. And I just
Hmm.
seen that and I was like, wow. Like, I mean, I mean, people do like PUBG. Like I said, in a world where Fortnite is dominating, PUBG I think still does fine for itself. It would seem. So, yeah. Do you have any other PlayStation news? Anything
Not
you
that
want
I
to
can think
mention?
of at the moment.
When was Days Gone launching again? Was that February, or did they push
Uh,
it back?
I think they pushed it back to April, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of over zombie games. Um,
Yeah.
the next zombie game that I'm gonna have my eyes on, maybe, because like I'm interested to see what Undead Labs can do with Microsoft's budget because they're now a part of the studio. So I'm interested to see what they can do. I'm just kind of over zombie games personally. Like I play COD Zombies on COD like BO4 and stuff, and Treyarch Zombies because I'm a big fan of it. But that it's just a horde mode, and it's fun to play. But just for zombie games in general, I'm just kind of over it. Like when I was younger, I had the zombie craze. Like I enjoyed zombie games and zombie movies and stuff. But I'm just kind of over that.
Yeah.
So like even if I had a PS4, I really wouldn't have my eyes too much on Days Gone.
Hmm.
That is so far out of confirmed games, that is one of their big titles this year. So if you are a PS4 fan,
Hmm.
that is one of your titles
That
to look
and
forward to.
Days Gone and Dreams, which
Well,
is from the developers Little Big Planet.
one of the things we can't talk about though, just to end it off here, there was I don't know if did you see the trailer that Sony put out? Um, I can't
Or
I can't remember what it was called. I seen a video from people, and it was like upcoming attractions or something like that, and it was obviously showing things like Days Gone and stuff. But in that trailer was Last of Us 2 and Death Stranding, if I remember correctly. And a lot of people was looking at that like, wait, they're saying upcoming attractions. Does that mean that Last of Us and Death Stranding is this year? Now, I don't personally believe that.
mm,
Because if you're putting out those games, unless Sony just doesn't think they need an E3 to market it, which maybe God of War proved that, right? Because on the last show,
right,
we looked up and they announced the God of War release date in January, a random day they announced it, and that game did fine for itself. One game of the year. Maybe they don't feel they have. I don't think you have to worry about showing Last of Us at E3. That game's going to sell. It doesn't matter. They could just tomorrow drop it and say Last of Us 2's out, and that game's going to do fine. But don't quote me on it because I'd only seen it once, but there was like it might have been a fake trailer. Like I said, I'm not saying that it's 100% confirmed. I actually might look it up here if I can get it. If you want to like give your thoughts on that, if you think they're coming out this year. Like I said, I don't think they're coming out this year. I don't. I don't think that those games are coming out this year. I'm gonna look this up here and see if this is official because now I'm just thinking about it and
hmm
it's bugging me.
I don't think they're coming out this year either. But I think maybe The Last of Us Part Two will be a launch title for the PlayStation 5. Or maybe it could pull a Twilight Princess or Breath of the Wild and be on both consoles. Who knows?
So yeah, PlayStation Europe, they uploaded coming attractions PS4, and this is the. It looks to be the play. It's got the check mark next to it, so this looks to be the official account. The description says 2018 was an incredible year on PlayStation, but there's still so much more to come. What are you most looking forward to? Visit the PlayStation blog for latest news on these upcoming games. And let me just watch it here to make sure. Let me cut that down. Days Gone, I see. Devil May Cry. Is that Ghost of Tsushima? There's Ghost. They got that in the trailer. Kingdom Hearts. They also have that Concrete Genie game coming out, which I actually think that looks pretty good. I think that was the Division 2. Control from Remedy, Resident Evil 2. And there's Last of Us 2. So no Death Stranding, it doesn't look like from just looking at it, but Ghost and Last of Us 2 was in this coming attractions trailer that the PlayStation Europe account uploaded.
That would take me by surprise if The Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima released this year.
But to be fair, it doesn't say 2019. That trailer just says coming attractions. That could be talking about a game coming spring 2020. They're not saying 2019, so take it with a grain of salt. Like I said, I don't know. It was something interesting.
The perfect PlayStation 5 lineup for me would be Last of Us Part 2, Death Stranding, and then the Final Fantasy VII Remake, Episode 1.
Yeah.
That would be insane, honestly.
The perfect... continue.
I still think that that the Final Fantasy VII Remake could be a launch title or a post-launch title for the PlayStation 5. I definitely don't think that the remake is happening this year.
Yeah. No,
that's just my personal opinion because the game's been in development since 2014.
Yeah.
Square only has 2 years of work on that.
Yeah.
And they should have 4. And this is coming from a CyberConnect 2 developer. Yeah. Square Enix, rumor has it that Square Enix has fired CyberConnect 2 and they have shifted development to in-house. But throughout 2019, I do expect to hear more on the Final Fantasy VII Remake. And if I don't see it at E3, I'm going to be upset. And I might cry, honestly.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, if that's all you have to talk about, that's all I have to talk about as well.
Hmm.
That's the
Yeah.
majority of the things that's going on right now in gaming. Um, like I said, just to go over what we talked about, doesn't look like we're getting a Nintendo Direct in January. Um,
Right. Oh, also before we wrap the show up, I think, well, this is kind of old news, like a week ago, but Atlas has came out and announced a new Persona game, Persona 5. I think it's like an expansion to Persona 5.
yeah,
A lot of people are hoping that it's like a Switch port because that is like one of the most highly requested Nintendo Switch games right now, is Persona 5.
a Switch port and an Xbox port, right?
Yeah, that would be good,
I
for both companies, both Nintendo and Microsoft.
like I said, I don't like turn-based RPGs, but the
Hmm.
story and the soundtrack was getting me, man. Like that,
Hmm.
it was. I enjoyed
And
it.
it's like I was telling you down here when you was with me earlier. Uh, Persona 5, it has its own style,
Yeah,
and it stands out from other games, from other turn-based RPGs, and just RPGs as a whole. It has its own style. Like you look at Persona 5, you listen to the soundtrack, you play the game. It's different. Like you can definitely tell
yeah,
that from a different game. You know,
yeah,
like you can line up, say, name off some RPGs: Persona, Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, Dragon Quest. You can definitely pick Persona out of the crowd.
yeah, yeah. It's unique.
Yeah, and I think it would be a really big deal
Yeah,
for both Microsoft and Nintendo because that's one of my biggest complaints with Microsoft right now is that they do not have a lot of Japanese games.
yeah, and Phil is working. Like every
Hmm.
E3 for the past couple years, we've seen more and more. I think this year E3 we're going to see a lot of that stuff. I'm hoping,
Yeah.
because they are lacking. Xbox is lacking in that, and they need more. And Phil, like he said,
Hmm.
he's working. He's going to Japan a lot to build relationships and try to get more and more. Like because again, the biggest issue like that they're not on Xbox is because they don't sell well. Well, now you have
Right.
Game Pass. Like if he can somehow get a way to get
Hmm.
those into Game Pass subscribers will just try them out because
Hmm.
you're a Game Pass subscriber. Why not? So
Which Atlas is owned by Sega right now,
yeah,
so I think Sega has the final say on like where this game goes.
yeah,
And who knows, maybe Sony has like a deal with Sega and Atlas to keep the Persona series on the
it's
PlayStation. Who
possible.
knows? But I think that would be a really big deal if maybe Microsoft or Nintendo could get the Persona series.
Yeah,
Because right now Persona I think it's at its all-time high.
yeah,
Because I mean,
yeah.
honestly, like uh, before Persona 5, did anybody really know about the series? It's kind of like that niche series, but Persona 5 was the breakout game.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Which also, like, I have sent you these messages before, Cody, of like Microsoft at Sega of Japan.
Yeah,
Maybe that could be one of the games that Phil's trying to get over to the Xbox.
yeah, it's possible.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, no Nintendo Direct for January. Bungie have left Activision. Thank you. Um, PS4 hit 91 million, 91.6 million if I remember correctly.
Hmm.
There's obviously more in
Resident
there.
Evil 2 remake coming out in a
Resident Evil 2
couple
is
of
coming
days.
out. Kingdom Hearts is coming out.
Hmm.
Yoshi's Crafted World March 29th. Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe, Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. Those are out today at the day of me uploading this. PUBG, most downloaded PlayStation game in December, which is kind of insane. So yeah, I mean, and there's a lot of stuff going on right now. It's going to be
Hmm.
interesting to see what happens in the coming months, and I'm looking forward to hopefully having an E3 episode, man. Because like I said, I'm really pumped for
Hmm.
E3.
Same here. Although Sony's not going to be at E3, huge
Yeah, it
bummer.
sucks.
I mean, regardless if you're a Sony fan or not, I mean, it's something you could watch.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know?
there's great third parties that show up there, even if you
Yeah.
don't want the exclusives.
Right.
And I mean, Sony have given us some pretty awesome moments at E3 within these past years. So
Yeah. I think this wraps up this
yeah, I
episode.
think that that's going to be it for this episode. So thank you for watching. Hope you subscribe and continue to watch, and we'll see you later.